and welcome to the channel. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you 5 pro tips to help you grow your business. Now, if you're new around here, I'm so thrilled to see you. I'm Kristy and I share weekly videos to help you grow your business, also that you can live a life on your terms. Now, if that sounds like something that you're interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as the little bell so that you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. If you are tired of having the same results week in, week out, or being outperformed by your competitors, or perhaps you're not as far along in your business journey as what you had hoped for by this stage, or maybe you just don't know what to do to grow your business, you're going to want to stick around because by the end of today's video, you will have 5 actionable steps that you can take that are both powerful enough to activate growth, but simple enough that you can literally take action as soon as today. Now, if you don't already have one, grab yourself a notepad and pen because we are going to get started right away. Pro tip number 1, know the problem you are solving. Now, I know this might seem like a really obvious step, but it's often one that is overlooked by many small business owners and entrepreneurs. Instead of focusing on the problem they're trying to solve, they start zeroing in on their products and services, as well as the features and benefits that are associated with those. I love the way that Seth Godin breaks this down in his recent book, This is Marketing, and I'm going to read you a passage because I think this summarizes it better than anything I have ever seen before. Harvard marketing professor Theodore Levitt famously said, "People don't want to buy a 1/4-inch drill bit, they want to buy a 1/4-inch hole." The lesson is that the drill bit is merely a feature, a means to an end, but what people truly want is the hole it makes. But that doesn't nearly go far enough. No one wants a hole. What people want is the shelf that will go on the wall once they drill the hole. That is such a great way to articulate this message. But what I love is that Seth continues to go deeper, and he talks about not only that the shelf solves the problem, but also the fact that those feelings that the customer gets from doing it themselves, as well as the acknowledgement from their spouse by the great work that they do. And what this is, he's actually breaking it down into two things. One, the extrinsic solution, which of course is the shelf, and number 2, the intrinsic solution, which of course is the emotions and the feelings that are associated with the extrinsic solution being met. Now, this brings me to pro action step number 1. Create a solution statement for your business. Now, this should include 3 things. 1, who is your ideal client? 2, the extrinsic solution that you provide. And 3, the intrinsic solution that you provide. Now, take the example of a personal trainer. She helps mums to get into shape. So her statement might look something like this.
I help mums to get fit and improve their overall health so that they feel empowered and confident on the inside as well as the outside.
Now, if you think about this statement, it really does encapsulate the ideal client, which is mums, 2, that they're getting fit and improving their health, and the intrinsic, of course, is being empowered to feel confident. Now, you give it a try. Pro tip number 2. Know whose problem you're trying to solve. Now, if I was to ask you the question, who is your ideal customer? Would you answer everybody, or perhaps I'm not sure? Then the chances are that you are reaching nobody. Now, I understand that in the beginning, things can be a little bit blurry, and it's okay not to have narrowed down your ideal client. But as time goes on, you really want to hone in on your niche, or otherwise known in North America as niche, so that you can increase the stickiness of your marketing messages. Now, I recommend you go one step deeper and not just clarify your ideal customer, but go into an ideal customer avatar. Now, I'm not talking about the little blue people in the James Cameron film. I'm actually talking about a detailed profile of who your ideal customer is. Now, this might include their age, their gender, where they live, what's their problems, what are they great at, what content they consume, all the things so that you can create a really detailed overview of who your customer is. By drilling down to this level of detail, you'll be able to clearly and confidently create products and services that meets the needs and solves the problem of this particular person. And this brings me to pro action number 2, create yourself an ideal customer avatar. And guess what? I have got you covered today, because in the details section of this video, you will find yourself an ideal customer avatar worksheet that covers everything that you need to get really clear on who that ideal customer is. All right, pro tip what number are we up to? 3. Systemize to scale your business. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you leaving money on the table because you are down in the weeds in your business? Now, when we all get started, we have to wear every hat in our business for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's fiscally responsible, and secondly, it's a good idea that we understand how every function works in our business. But here's the thing, there comes a time where you need to scale. And if you're focusing all your efforts on non-income generating activities, things that could be simply automated or outsourced, then this could actually leave you behind. Now, one of the things that I often see with small business owners is inefficiency around time. And we are so fortunate that we live in the tech era. And there is an app or software that could pretty much do anything and everything in your business. And what there's not an app for, you could easily outsource to a remote team. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you need to outsource or automate absolutely everything within your business. But what I am suggesting is that you do need to identify the inefficiencies within your business to know what you could potentially offload so that you can focus on scaling and growing your business. Now, this is going to be different for every single business. So this brings me to pro action number 3. Track your productivity. Now, there's so many ways that you can track your productivity. You could do it the old-fashioned way and do it on a piece of paper. You could do it in your calendar, or you could use an app like Hours, or you could simply pop it into your planner. However way you track it, just track it and track it into the finest details. So I would suggest in at least 15-minute increments. I would probably even go a little bit deeper into 5-minute increments, just so that you really know where you are spending your time. Now, once you track your productivity, it's a good idea to then look at where are the inefficiencies in your business and what could potentially be automated or outsourced for you so that you can grow your business. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Comment down below and share with me, what is your favorite time-saving app or tool that you use in your business currently, because I'm always on the lookout for new and exciting apps. Moving right along to pro step number 4, know where you're going. Now, I love this quote from Julius Erving: goals determine where you're going to be. Now, I want you to be really honest with yourself. Have you set measurable goals for your business? Now, I get that this is not a sexy topic, but it's a really important one nonetheless. You wouldn't embark on a vacation across the country without a destination, because you know what? You'd be driving all over the place and you'd miss really great sights. It's exactly the same for your small business.
If you haven't set a goal, where are you going?
Now, if you dipped your head when I said, have you created measurable goals in your business? You're going to want to dive into growth action step number 4. Use the 4-step process to create measurable goals. Now, this process is really simple, but it's also something that I've used in my business. The first step in the process is to get really clear on your vision. Now, your vision should be your North Star. This is where your whole business is heading. From there, you want to go ahead and set your overall goal for the year. Once you've set your overall annual goal, you're going to want to build in key milestones to help you get there. And from those key milestones, you're going to want to identify what's the next one thing that's really going to help you to grow your business. Now, when you focus on this, you have something to build your actions around for today, tomorrow, and beyond that will help you to get closer to obviously your overall annual goal, but again, to your big picture vision. All right, last but not least, pro tip number 5, pivoting is necessary. Now, I love the Tony Robbins quote, by changing nothing, nothing changes. Pivoting is part of growing a successful business. Chances are it's pretty unlikely that you are going to have exactly the same business model from when you first got started, because through the testing phase, you start to quickly realize what's working and what's not. And since we're talking about testing, really put on that lens of what can I learn from the things that I'm putting out there. So really, most businesses run by the cycle of design, launch, analyze. And through this three-step process, you'll quickly work out what's working and what's not. What pivoting can simply be is a slight redesign of a product or a service that you have offered based on feedback from the market. It can also be even a rejig of who your ideal customer is, or perhaps it's the way that you offer your products and services to the market. Pivoting is simply a result of feedback, which is why you need to have a growth mindset to look for the opportunities that can potentially grow your business. Now, here are some signs that you may need to pivot your business. 1, you're experiencing little or no growth in your business. 2, you're constantly outperformed by your competitors. 3, an aspect of your business is outperforming everything else. That's a telltale sign for something that you really need to expand on. 4, through your testing phase, you've identified new markets. 5, and this is the biggest one, feedback is telling you that your clients or customers are looking for something different. Now, if things aren't working in your business, you want to take the time to reflect, do some analysis, and really look at that feedback. But you do want to move swiftly, but make sure you have a strategy because you want your pivot to be successful. Now, this brings me to the final growth action, number 5. Take an inventory of your final offer. Now, the best way for you to understand what needs pivoting in your business is to analyze the data, to review the feedback. So go back and have a look at what are the things that aren't working for you in terms of your offer. What is your customers or your prospects telling you so that you can understand what's not working, what's holding people up, and what could potentially be redesigned so that you could be more successful in this space. And that's a wrap. That is now 5 pro tips that will help you to grow your business. And as I said in the beginning of this video, these tips are both powerful enough to activate real growth, but also simple enough that you can get started right away. Now, over to you. I'd love to know, what is your greatest takeaway from today's video? Pop down into the comments and let me know. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are keen to grow your business so that you can live a life on your terms.